I'm gonna help it out. I'm gonna help it out.
Hey y'all, she tried.
I'm trying.
A for effort.
Thank you, thank you. Well, today when I was starting out with the Daily Dish, we were talking about loving thy neighbor, right? And I targeted my black folk because I think a lot of times we are the worst neighbors to each other. So, and just saying, hey, before we can go for world unity and let there be peace on earth and all melting, the melting pot, let's all learn to actually, come together and be unified within ourselves and help your neighbor out that may need a couple of sugar.
Would you say we were brainwashed? Or, I don't want to say brainwashed, but it was like, I'll say brainwashed, and others meant for us to hate ourselves. So, would you say that? Like,
you mean through slavery
exactly.
Slavery, and then through through the civil rights movement and that sort of thing? Absolutely, it's a mindset. It's a mindset that we were brought up on. In the way our culture was, and our families were torn apart. So yeah, but let's put it this way. I mean, don't we a little bit know better now? Our eyes are still closed.
Yeah,
yeah, I was going to say, I think it's two-sided, because I think that, as Black people, we are a community-based people, but we've come into where we disagree with one another, things like that, too. So it's kind of like, we do the community thing, and we look out for each other, but in a way that we feel like it.
Well, is it that, too? We look out for each other as long as you don't get too far ahead of where I am.
Yeah, that's true, too. Yeah.
Because I can't help you. No, I can't really help you.
I don't know if that's the case. Okay, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
A friend of mine, he said, he was locked up, he's out, and he said to me, he said, well, his mentality was, I need to take care of my children, and I don't have, but I see someone that has, or seems to have, he happens to be
Black, you can say the word.
So why is it that he can have and I can't? And then he says, well, I need to take care of my family. I can't get a job on the street. I'm trying to work and do the right thing. No one's hiring me. I don't have a degree. I don't have this, that, and that. It went on and on.
A bunch of excuses, though. But go ahead.
It's a whole bunch of excuses. But he said to me, well, if you have to do what you have to do to survive and to take care of your children, and you're not able to get employment legally, what's to stop him from going out?
Nothing. That's the cycle. That's the cycle. Yeah, that's the vicious cycle.
It is. I don't think it's that you don't want to see the other. I mean, I'm sure you have some people like that, but I don't think it's that we don't want to see our neighbor or our family or our friends move up. We want to see that. At the same time, we remain stagnant. And there's so many brothers and sisters out there that remain stagnant. They've tried hard, tried looking for jobs. They've done everything they can. They get to that frustration to where, you know what?
But see, and I think that's where, I was having a conversation with someone too about this, is that when we tend to, get into that mindset of, we're looking for jobs and we're looking for this, but us as a community, man, I mean, we are smart people. Why aren't we creating the jobs? Why aren't the people that own Black businesses or, own, or have that power of authority within a certain segment of your company, why aren't we then opening it up
for people?
Because now listen, I mean, I have all types of friends. I have white friends, Black friends, Asian friends. And I love everybody. But I'm just, but I'm not. But I do want to focus on what I am, which is a Black woman, and so in that too, do we tend to then, once some people make it to a certain point, then forget to come back and at least give people an opportunity to open that up. And this starts with loving thy neighbor. And I'm not saying that you as a person who may be in that particular situation save the world. The world problems aren't all on your shoulders. But it could start with your own immediate circle.
Yeah, but understand this. I'm sorry, you want to say something?
Go ahead.
All right, well, understand this. If I own a business, all right, and I want to open it up to my community,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
From a business standpoint, from you being a business owner, you just talked about on the outside looking in. Well, I'm on the inside looking out.
Okay. And what are you
looking out? I see what you're doing on the streets.
Well, everybody.
For all I know
doing
is you
the
going
street
in and out.
vows.
You going in and out on Don. No, you going in. You don't get
Everybody.
me wrong.
Okay, go
All
ahead.
right, case in point.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
What's your case in
all
point?
right.
Well, I'm
gonna
going
get
to throw
trouble.
in. I'm going to throw in because I do blogging, but I go to a lot of networking events. There's a lot of Black women there. There's a lot of just people there in general. And one of the things that's important to me is building community and building a group of people who are doing the same thing, or at least not maybe doing the same thing, but doing in the same lane. Like we all have a goal, a vision, a bigger dream. And what I found is a lot of people are willing to come together and do those things. So I think it's not fair to say that everybody's not, doing their part to build the Black community, like the creatives that I've met just in DC in the last year or so. They're doing some awesome work, and they'll invite you to do things with them. But people have to be open to that too, because you have to know that there's enough room for all of us and be okay with okay, she does the same thing I do, but there's enough room for all of us, and we can figure out how to creatively collaborate and
so we can get
be
rid
a
of
community together
and get rid of the crab in the barrel.
Yeah, like who take the barrel away?
Right.
Simple as that.
But what you said, all right, that's good. But see, the people that are there, they're showing themselves worthy of being able
Or taking initiative, right?
Exactly.
That's true.
But if you're not trying to take that initiative, how am I going to help you? You don't want to help yourself.
That's the truth.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
Mom,
I
wait,
agree with you.
Okay, that's really soft, but that was a big explosion I just did.
So you have to show me that you need help. I had a good friend of mine. I was like, man, come with me, come work with me, so we can do lighting and DJing and staging together. And I'll show you how to do things and do this and do that and set up and all that.
So
he wasn't serious.
Sometimes there's a pride issue, I don't want that person to feel like they have to help me. And then sometimes it's a lack of motivation. Maybe that's just not what they're interested in doing.
I mean, something.
He
still ain't doing nothing. I hope you find something you want to. Find something legal that you want to do. But no, that's good because I like that being able to network with Black-owned companies and getting together and being able to network amongst ourselves. I think that's good. That's why, and I'm gonna bring this up. That's why this election is very important. Donald Trump said something about a few weeks ago that he's going to create more jobs. He's been promoting that in his campaign. Mm-hmm. But you have to understand, he's creating more jobs, but it's not for you and I.
Right, exactly.
It's for his people. So it's for his folk.
Right.
So he has his network of people. That's why it's important for us to build our own network of people too. Mm-hmm. You always talk. I mean, how many Kenny's? I know it's a little. How many Kenny sub shops you see in the area?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right, I got you.
7-Elevens.
But not everybody's doing this. Oh my gosh, Rob. I tell you, you are nuts. You are like an HR nightmare. But, okay, speaking of Donald Trump, right, and Hillary, so we got, 16 days, I believe?
Yeah.
Something like that of the election. And in that, so we got people who have, I'm trying to get my thing, people who are having issues with Donald Trump because of his comments and his standing. But then we also have people that aren't really feeling Hillary. They're like, hey, the lack of the majority, lack to connect, she doesn't have that connection with American people. And that's what I heard this morning on CNN. Oprah actually said, hey guys, you don't have to like her.
Oprah, you ain't gotta like her.
You ain't gotta like her. She's not coming to your house.
She's Michelle.
Right.
My thing with Hillary, what Donald is doing, I'm not surprised as Donald. For Hillary to be in her position and make some of the mistakes that she's made, you're a veteran. You've been in politics for years. Again, you said politics.
Well, what politics you guys know? Even the regular companies actually follow all the rules.
Right. And she's a politician, by nature. She is just, that is what she is. The connection is just not a part of her
personality.
Yeah. You can tell. Well, yeah, I think you can tell that she's had to work really hard to get ahead of all these men. Mm-hmm. And to me, it's offensive that she even has to go against Donald Trump. When she was going against Obama, that was a, fair, if anything, fair competition. He's a politician as well, and you got outdone by the best man. Okay. Right. But when you get outdone, if you do get outdone by Donald Trump, and he has no he doesn't have the work that you put into this.
Right.
that is something that happens to women all
Well,
the
look at
time.
Ronald Reagan. He was an actor
Right.
before he got into office. So, I mean, there are non-politicians that have been presidents. But I understand what you're saying, where basically Donald Trump shouldn't even be able to come against her because of his record and his background. But who did the GOP have? He knocked them all out.
Right.
You know,
and to speak on character and charisma, there was something about his character and charisma that got him this far. So that speaks to just kind of how...
That speaks of our nation.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, that's an underlying rule right there to saying, hey, we rather vote for him because he does say the things that we think that we're not allowed to say. Mm-hmm. And that's for some of America.
Yeah. So you brought up a good point. So let me ask both of you.
Y'all.
You brought up a good point. Had Hillary ran, would Hillary have gone this far? Or would Hillary have the opportunity to come this close to becoming president if it were anyone else other than Donald Trump?
I still think that she has her own strengths.
Yeah.
There's pros and cons ever. She has her own strengths. Not that everybody's going to agree with it. Like Oprah said, you don't have to like her. But she does have her own political strengths. That's how
I'm going to answer this with that one. Heck no. I don't think she would have as big as a majority lead as she had now if she was running against anybody else that had the political background and the experience that some of the other people within
it's who she ran against.
Right.
She's running against Donald. That's why she's going to be our next president of the United States.
Right. I hope so. I really hope so. Be sure to go out there and vote and register if it's not too late. If it is too late.
I think it's too late to register.
Okay, well, just make sure you guys
early vote if you can.
Yes.
Early vote.
I have a bad feeling. I think something's going to happen.
Well, okay.
The internet's going to go down again.
Okay, Friday.
You know what it's going to go back to? Al Gore and George Bush. Remember what happened?
Yeah.
When they had to recount everything?
Okay, so speaking of that, so what's up with Pennsylvania, who don't even have paper backings for their machines, and that is the main state that they're going after. So they actually had this interview with the lady who's in charge of this. She was swallowing so hard on that interview because they literally asked her, so when Donald asked for a recount, what are you going to do? Because you have no paper backings. And she's like, well, I believe our machines is going to work. And the lady was like, do you even believe your answer? So
I watch Scandal too much. And I just remember, the thing that I come back to is like that season where it was all about defiance and like, you know, the fraud that they did to get the president. And that's the thing I keep thinking about in this election is Scandal. Like, this is like a real life episode
of Scandal
or a season of Scandal because like you can feel that something's going to go wrong and we're all going to be like, oh.
I don't think Scandal is too far off actually on some of its I
don't know either.
So okay, we're talking about the internet going down and on Friday, and it was funny because it looks like it was this middleman company that basically came in and they got hacked. Guess what they use, guys? They use people's home DVRs. And they use their people's home printers and all your home devices that you had no clue they're sitting connected to your Wi-Fi. They actually came in and sent like packets of data to overflow the system. And that's what caused the entire, you couldn't get to Twitter, you couldn't get to eBay, you couldn't get to anything. And that's what shut it down. And they're saying...
The Squarespace.
Yeah, right, exactly.
All right, hold on, wait a minute.
Oh, Lord, look at his face. Look at his face, y'all. Look at his face.
I'm not no big on social media.
Oh.
I'm just now getting used to
Are you talking about you don't know about the news?
I'm just getting used
to
Instagram.
Saying?
What's Squarespace?
No. Squarespace is like a site that you can build websites in. But like, if you have something built in
social
there,
media.
Right?
No, it's not social media. If you could. But you couldn't get the links through that. So, like, if somebody had a site built through Squarespace, you couldn't get to it.
And so the companies weren't actually attacked. It's this middleman company that supports all those other companies and their domains, and that's what got attacked. So basically, I posted the news article on Facebook, and I tell people don't get too comfortable. You know, we get real comfortable. I know I'm comfortable. I got my banking through the internet. You know, and we get real comfortable in a lot of stuff. So just beware. Okay, so the other thing is I found something interesting that's actually good news. I found that Stanford and some other Ivy League universities are offering free tuitions for families making less than $125,000 a year. Yes, you could have went to Stanford. So could I. Well, actually, I can. I'm too seasoned. So, so why are you rocking? What?
It's just the catch to that.
No, the catch. There is no really catch. Like if you make you get your tuition now. You still would have to pay for.
Next year?
You would have to. Now, come on. You know what Stanford you have to test it. You got to be able to get it.
So if you went,
she shaded you.
No. Wait, hold on.
Hold on.
My little soft behind.
No, I'm sorry. How many students? I'm not knocking DC.
Okay.
But we know they've had problems. Half the time they don't. The kids don't get their books until the middle of until like a couple months after school starts.
Okay. So why are we talking about DC?
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just using them as an example. They're not the only ones.
Who's
so
not
if
the
you
only
come
ones?
from a school district that's not.
Listen.
No, you have to understand our education system is biased.
Listen.
No, we have
education
to a biased
begins in the
system.
home, baby. Education begins in the home. If you solely
How many students in these areas will be able to test and do well to go to Stanford?
There are bright children everywhere.
I'm not disputing that.
And if they want to take initiative and know this is an option out there, that's what we're here for. We're here to tell people, hey, it's time with Lady Halima DJ Vibzzz is all about giving you the information that's important to you.
No, I'm being.
So what's important to people is to know there's an option there. Now, you have to look into it, but there are bright people out there that don't sit home and clubbing or on the internet, and some of them actually like to read. Oh my gosh, let's not forget this notion of reading now these days, right? People like to read and maybe even enhance their mind to be able to get to that point. There was a family that was on Good Morning America. There were four siblings. Mm-hmm. They all got into either Stanford or Yale. Mm-hmm. Why? They did not have the money. They told them, don't worry about money, but the black siblings, and they all of them got in, and they all were able to, because they wanted their minds. They were brilliant young people. Mm-hmm. And you could tell it came from.
Where did they live?
I don't know where they live. I can't remember.
Where did they live?
I don't remember.
What was their environment?
Why are you yelling at me?
Well, I think, okay.
And culturalism plays a big role in your education.
But they didn't have the means to go to Harvard or Yale.
Live?
I don't know. I'm gonna look it up.
Well, even if you live in a lower socioeconomic area,
where education is not
where your school system isn't that good. I mean, I grew up in West Virginia. Can't say that
you did well.
The best, education system. Sorry to all the teachers watching. But still, there's people who went to more affluent schools and did well and became doctors and do all those things. But at the same time,
about what percentage?
I have no idea. I went to college with a full scholarship.
I know that's wrong.
I went to school. And
say it again. No. Say that again,
I went to school on a full scholarship. I actually had several scholarships.
But she need to show on.
But what I'm saying is that I learned at home first. I learned how to read when I was, my grandma was like, well, here's some Hooked on Phonics books. Like, do something.
There you go.
At 4. And so
I'm saying.
Right. So, you gotta start she's right. You gotta start at home and then build upon. And if you don't have the means to be in a nice school or something, there's
options.
Hooked on Phonics.
There's an internet.
He's still hooked on there.
I also hooked on Transformers. But that's good though.
But wait a second. I'm not surprised though. No, but you're good. But
I'm being told I'm Simon.
Oh my! You're Simon off of Transformers.
No.
American Idol.
I'm negative today, y'all. It's not that I'm trying to be negative, but I'm just trying to just look at it.
So there's an option out there.
There is. I mean, that's good. I would like to go to Stanford.
Yes, and you could. Oh, do you make less than $125,000?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then all you have to do is test in. Now, if you make less than, this is more information, people. If you make less than 60-something thousand a year, you get free room and board and tuition taken care of.
Oh,
that's household income. So.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So they are opening the door, so you still would have to pay for, even if you make less than 125. I mean, so if you're making $100,000, then you probably can afford to pay for the child to go room and board. Right, exactly. Or pay room and board or whatever. So anyway, that's your that's a tidbit right there. And the last part was for our current events. And if you guys, hey, we're on Facebook Live. Look at Latisha Carr. Look at me, Lady Halima, or Halima Harrison, Facebook. If you have any questions, comments. I did have a comment here where someone, hey, Janine. So Janine said, she said, what? She said, heck yeah, Lady Halima. Hillary is super duper qualified. She said, yes, Hillary would have gotten far against another candidate. And she said, great show. Thanks, Janine. Thanks for your input. Yeah, so, hey, we got some Hillary supporters.
I mean, I'm not Hillary supporter.
You can't knock that.
I'm not. I'm just saying, if it was anyone else, she probably wouldn't have gone as far.
I think that
just in the Democratic Party alone, if they had a stronger candidate, she almost lost to Bernie.
Well, but she's a woman too.
We about to have a man.
I think it's the charisma because Bernie Sanders also.
Yes,
people like his character.
I like Bernie. I was going to vote for Bernie.
And the same thing with Obama. People trusted him, loved him. I mean, yes, he was black, and all the black people went out and voted for him. And
right.
People might put it on that, but at the same time, like
he was
he's trustworthy. He had the personality. He was charismatic. So he was the full package.
Yep.
And Hillary, yes, although she's very qualified, she is missing that piece of like
the
people
connection.
Don't feel connected to her.
Yeah.
If people felt connected to her, she
hands down.
Hands down.
Okay, so we're gonna move on. The last one I have here is so I saw this article on CNN Money because I like technology and I like money. So it had pretty much that in U.S. today, the average African American household owns just 6 cents for every dollar of wealth held by the typical white household, and blacks make up just 1.7% of the top 1% of wealthy Americans. And they had this awesome video on CNN Money, and it was about these two black-owned companies. One was here in Maryland, and these were older, more distinguished folks, but they've been through a lot. And they were just talking about their journey, and that even still to their day, that they had mansions like Oprah, and they built from the bottom. What's that thing? Started at the bottom, now we're here. Okay, so. So they started at the bottom, and now they're there. And so now, at this point, they're like, hey, we're still fighting. So understand, the fight will never end here in this country for Black America. And that's just what I need people to understand. And I heard this one person say on TV, they were like, they didn't get the whole Black Lives Matter, right? So they were like, Black Lives Matter, the white woman, she's like, I didn't get it. I'm saying, what are they saying? We don't matter either. We don't matter. And she was like, no, someone explains to her that Black Lives Matter too. Like, and that, right, as well. So, it's not that, here on It's Time that we're talking about black folks as though everyone else doesn't matter, but we will say that we do matter too. So that's just clarifying that for anybody listening and want to, send me messages and say how racist I am and I'm only talking about black people. But, and I'm not. I love everyone, but I do want to hit what affects us because, again, it's time to focus on what matters to us, too. Okay, so I think that, you guys have any more comments or any more things? Anybody? So
I gotta go to Southwest from here.
All right, guys, and we are back. All right, so again, I want to say we had an awesome, our guest co-host here, Latisha Carr. She is a trooper. Can you say trooper? She is absolutely a trooper. So Vibzzz, she is an awesome blogger. I read her articles all the time. She is insightful. She is just an awesome person who is just bringing insight and positivity to social media.
Oh, thank you.
Wait, applause. Our applause button is kind of yay. Okay, so Latisha, Vibzzz, you had a question for Latisha. Let's go ahead with your question.
Well, I wanted to know more about her niche and blogging and what is the. I'm not in the this blogging stuff. Like, how do you tell me more about blogging and what you do and your niche.
Okay, so I'll start with. So right now I'm on a hiatus on blogging because I moved into doing a podcast. So I haven't been writing as much, but I transitioned that into a podcast where I interview other people who are living their dreams and moving forward in their goals and vision. So to back up all the way, my blog is called Where Do You Dream? I started Where Do You Dream 2 years ago. I was in the airport going to Las Vegas, but I was going through a quarter-life crisis. So it was like having a breakdown, meltdown, sitting in the airport by myself.
Quarter-life crisis.
That's what I call it.
Okay.
I had turned 25.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I had turned 25, and I was just like, I graduated, got my master's degree, and just didn't know what to do next with myself. And just was like having a breakdown in the airport, going to Vegas. Like, why would you be crying about that, right? So I was like, oh, I'll start this travel blog. Like, I'm going to start writing about travel. It didn't turn into that at all. That's why it was called Where Do You Dream? Because I was traveling. I always had big dreams, always had big goals. So the name came from I'm always going somewhere, always doing something. So you can be a dreamer, be anywhere in the world and do anything. So that's where the name comes from. And from there, it kind of transitioned. I started writing to kind of pull myself up out of that dark place. Mm-hmm. But I was writing to encourage both myself and others. So as I'm like going through things like, dream outside of fears I started saying dream outside of fear because I was so fearful to like really shine, like really just shine as bright as I could, that I had to keep telling myself to dream outside of fear. So why not? I know I couldn't be the only person. So that's how I started. That's how I started with the blogging and writing. So honestly, I just got started. I just put up a website and started writing, and that's how I started blogging. And I know a lot of people who are very, very successful with blogging and making money blogging. So
I could wake up tomorrow morning.
Here we go, y'all. Here we go.
I quit my job, start blogging,
mm-hmm.
become a millionaire.
Well, maybe if God so willingly gives that to you.
Wait a second. Let me tell you about Vibzzz blog. Wait. Hold on. I'm going to put it over here. Vibzzz blog would consist of, let me tell you this. Vibzzz blog would consist of him actually saying, I don't want to go to work today. Yep. I'm tired. Yep. And let me tell you how people are pissing me off. Yep. That would be Vibzzz blog. And you know what? I guarantee you probably have like mad followers still. Exactly. So I don't know if any of those, if you have like the woe is me, I think Vibzzz, your blog,
the overhead is low.
You
don't need any employees. I ain't got to pay for it.
But it's a lot of work, too, because you have to still come up with content.
All I need is an
internet connection.
A laptop. But I go to the library and do my blog.
There you go.
I don't even need a computer.
Exactly. You should go to the library if that's what's on your heart.
You're going to vent for days. That's what you can do it from your phone. You can probably blog from your phone.
Oh, yeah. You definitely can do it.
Yeah. You don't need a library.
Just
pay your phone. Pay your phone bill. Starts there. Vibzzz starts there.
You got to start somewhere. That's why I tell people, though, if you want to start somewhere, just get started.
Okay. Oh, boy. I'm scared, guys. I'm scared. All right. So, Latisha, you also are a life coach, right?
Yes.
Okay. Wait. You get it. Like the quarter crisis.
I also work in mental health too. So
he's looking like she got a quarter crisis, and she a life coach, right? Okay.
It's
you know what? You got to do it.
It's been 2 years.
Going through going through something will make you a better coach.
It does.
Yes, absolutely.
So, no, I think that's perfect.
Your face, I don't know, I was just looking at your face, though.
No, that's great. That's perfect.
Going through something has shown me that I can do it, so therefore I can encourage, if I've never gone through anything, how can I tell anybody
Amen.
else?
Exactly.
Or, I can't. I gotta practice what I preach, but I have to know.
Yeah, you have to know.
She has to
Like,
practice.
when you go to some of these facilities, they all up on drugs. They want to get clean, but you got people up there trying to help out. They ain't never been on drugs.
So I worked in a drug recovery program for 2 years.
Right.
And you're right. Some people get the most out of the people who've been through it too.
Yeah.
So, or who at least have that.
You don't know what it's like to shiver and all that other stuff.
No.
Yeah, and people just want you to know. Like I always use the example in that case was that you know what, I love pizza, and if somebody took away pizza from me right now, like
You'll be fighting.
I would be mad and upset. You know, like if you took away the thing that you really enjoy.
That's my
That's
slice,
a very
bro.
like smaller version of.
Don't touch my slice.
Don't touch my chocolate.
Yeah.
I like chocolate.
Need an anchovies, I'm gonna whoop you.
You got anchovies? No, really? Oh, yeah, man. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. Okay, so is there anything else you want to, like, tell me about your, so what do you do, like, with your life coach? Like, tell us about your business and exactly what it is that you do.
So I work with people who were like me in that quarter life crisis. You have the big vision, you have the big goal, you have the big dream. You just don't know how to get to it. And you're frustrated, you're working towards it and you're just frustrated, period.
But you already you had your master's.
Yeah, my
and
master's
you were still going through it.
My master's is in counseling at that. And just because you have an education in something does not mean that you don't. God puts obstacles in your way on purpose. I went through that hard time in my life what felt like the world was ending. It was very dramatic. But it wasn't real. You know what I mean? It's a thing that wasn't real.
Let's be honest though. When you're going through something, when you're going through something, it feels like the world is ending. It feels like, oh my gosh, how I'm going to get through this time in my life.
Well, if you come from, especially for me, like I've been in school for 20 plus years. You know, I went through from kindergarten to 12th grade. I went through, got my bachelor's degree. I went through, got my master's all back to back. So when you take away the thing that I know how to be a student. Like, I'm a really good student. I was really good at being a student. So now,
scholarship.
I'm no longer a student. And so what do I do next?
Transition.
You know what I mean?
And transitions and changes are very difficult.
No matter what you're transitioning from.
Exactly. Okay, so for our segment of things that make you go,
Donald Trump's toupee.
You know what? That's a really good thing that make you go, what is it?
When he does this, when Trump is like, Trump got this thing up. and you see like right up front, right? You see the toupee shake a little bit when he does that.
Wait a second.
No, bro.
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. Yes, and what is it? What's it made out of?
And how many does it have?
You know what? They change colors.
And you know,
they
when
change
they
colors.
get a wig, you get a nice wig, you might try to buy a couple of them. So
right.
But
he got one for the house.
I wonder what he looks like.
Going to the grocery store.
You know what?
I bet you go to the grocery store.
I wonder if his kids ever seen without it before. You know,
maybe it's implanted. Like he's got
those little things.
Yeah, they do that now. Yeah.
He has enough money for that.
Maybe it's a sewn in.
No.
It might be a sewn in weave.
I want it to be a lace front.
A lace
probably
yeah, girl.
Really,
that's a
Him and
great.
Beyonce probably have the same.
You know what? Yup, because they're both in New York, so they know the same people.
They get the same lace front.
They got the same lace front, weave, sewn in, multiple toupees, and has the parents and has the kids ever seen them without it? Things that make you go, Okay.
On Trump's case.
That is the truth. All right, so guys, I hope you're enjoying this awesome show with our guest co-host, Latisha.